Hello everyone and welcome to today's special report for Operation Iron Horse. I'm like crazy nervous excited for this one. My name's Hamish. If you have never been here before, I'll be hosting this thing. We've got Chatty and Sebastian that we'll be talking to in a second, but I want to give you some cliff notes before we start the stream. Just let me bring up a few things. So we will also have up here a countdown that's going to start in just a second that you will see. So we'll keep an eye on that. That's going to show you exactly when the raid is going to start. But we are currently about 59 minutes away from that. Can we shave your chair? Yes. Shave my hair? You're distracting me. Okay, so Operation Iron Horse is the second raid for the Division 2. It'll be the toughest challenge yet, I'm told. We will be basically jumping into a True Sun stronghold. So you'll need to grab 8 agents for that. It will release straight after this stream, so we'll be seeing you through to there. I do want to note that Twitch drops are available. We've talked about this before, but you will be able to get the backpack trophy and the mask as well from watching this stream or any of the approved Division streams in the directory. So it'll be 30 minutes for that backpack trophy and 90 minutes for the mask. You will need to have your accounts linked, so I will also drop this link in chat for you. If you don't have that, you will not be able to get the rewards. So make sure you go over and set that up. Okay? You've been warned. I don't want you coming to me being all like, I didn't get my rewards and you don't have your accounts linked. Okay? Go and link them right now. I do also want to say that the world's first competition will also be rewarded like it was last time, and those winners will be immortalized in the White House as they are for Dark Hours, per platform as well. So if you have not been inspired by that and haven't gotten your team ready, you should go and do that now, although I hope you have been preparing a little bit longer than 1 hour. The level 40 version will be available at 6 p.m. in 57 minutes, and the level 30 version will be coming a week later. So we want to give space to those world's first players at level 40. The discovery mode will become available at a later date, and we'll let you know more about that when we have information. And the raid will be free for all Division 2 players. Also, it is worth noting that we know that the expansion to get you to level 40 isn't free, so eventually it'll be available to all players, and it will be free, if that makes sense. Where do you link your account? I'll send that link one more time. Mods, if you can make sure to spam that for people, that would be much appreciated. I do want to head over and bring in our call. Can you hear me? Annecy?
Yes, we can. Yes.
All right. Let me just... There we go. Hi. How you doing?
Hey. Hey, Amish. Hey. Fine, thank you.
Great to talk to you. It's this is again a little bit of a new setup for me. I'm running this all from home. How's the lockdown times been going over in France?
Not so bad. Let's say we're lucky enough to be in an area that is quite pleasant, and we had nice weather. So personally, it was not like I wouldn't say it was a very hard time. Okay, but now we're back at the studio. Not all of us, not all the time, but it's cool to meet back with the colleagues and foster creativity somewhere else than between screens and cameras.
Sure. So, for those people that don't know you, would you mind introducing yourselves and what you do on the project for the people at home?
Sure. My name is Shadi Al-Zilawi. I'm with the division since 6 years now. Started as mission design director on the first one, and now associate creative director on the second one. And yes, there's the French accent. So you can comment about it if you want, but yes. Yeah. So, and super excited to be here. Obviously, it's been a year since the last stream we did with you for the launch of Operation Dark Hours. And now, being able to be here with you, with the excitement of our team next door that has been working on that content for a year now. So we can't wait to see how you players are going to react to it. And hopefully you will love it.
Yeah. Sebastian, what about you?
Yeah, so hi, I'm Sebastian. I'm working mainly on the 2 raids for the Division 2. And as Shadi, I was working on the Division 1, mainly on the incursions.
All right, that's good to know. I'm just going to test again. We are currently 53 minutes and 53 seconds away from the servers coming up, so we'll keep an eye on that. and we want to make sure that you're all ready for it. So, where do we start? I want to kind of go, I guess, at the top level for the people who are maybe jumping into the Division 2 from a new standpoint. We've obviously had a lot of new players coming in with Warlords of New York. What is it that they can expect to be different from a raid compared to their experience, provided they haven't done the Dark Hours stuff?
First of all, obviously, the difficulty. It's a very tough challenge, as you said. That's really something that we have crafted for first the high-end players that have spent a lot of time in maxing their build. As you said, we'll have discovery mode on level 30 for people who are not that far in the progression of the game. But that's like the first pillar is the difficulty. It's not difficulty in terms of just having more difficult enemies to kill, but it's a different approach compared to the missions. You'll have to communicate between the teams to really synchronize your action. You'll have to analyze what's going on because there are puzzles to solve in every fight, which is something that we don't have in the regular missions. And that's also an 8-player activity, which is something that is a step further compared to the mission that you can play up to four players. So yeah, it's really team communication, synchronization, and analysis of the different puzzles that we have crafted for you.
Cool.
So what is something?
I was just going to say, what does the rest of tonight look like for you? Do you plan to be staying up until it's completed, or do you think you'll get some sleep?
Maybe not until it is completed, but yes, we will be following the race as long as possible from the studio, and then probably from home with a different setting.
So actually, we have the entire team that is waiting in the building next door. Hi, team. And will join us right after that stream. We're going to stay at the office, as Seb said, and depending if hopefully we'll have to be home before it's beaten. That's our hope, but who knows? We are always surprised by players when we release such content.
That's true. Going back to Dark Hours, what was the feeling around the studio in terms of completion time for that? Because I think we clocked in at just under 6 hours for the first completion.
Yeah.
Is that close to what you expected?
It was already an achievement, and with the team, we wanted it to last for around 8 hours. Unfortunately, it was a little bit shorter than this, but it was already super cool to follow the first race. And what to say for this one? I will bet on the same duration, so 8 hours, the same prediction I did. And between the team, we have like a lot of different predictions, so it's hard to say what is the average.
I would bet a little bit higher because we have much more puzzles to solve. It's less DPS focused as the first raid was. We already had some mechanics in the first raid, but this time on, we try to take it a step further. So, but as I said, always surprised by how fast players can analyze the different mechanics and put things together and solve those challenges. So, might be wrong.
All right. Okay. I mean, later in the stream, we'll be going through some things in not too much mechanical depth, but there were some things that did get out at a very basic level, but we'll kind of go through that. I will make sure for those players who don't want to know anything about the raid, we will make sure that we give you a spoiler warning. It's not deep on the spoilers, but if you do want to, maintain 100% clarity on it, we will make sure that you know about that. I want to go back and talk a little bit about how your relationship with Massive works. We mentioned at the start of the stream, I'm here in Sweden where Massive is. Well, I'm not at Massive, I'm at my house because of the situation. You're currently in the studio in Aniseed where you work. How does that relationship work in terms of co-development?
So as I said, it's been 6 years now. So we have really built a solid relationship with Massive. I myself have spent multiple days, weeks in Massive. I've been there for 6 months working with the team on site. So we managed to really create a trust relationship during all those years. When the team is doing good job and when everybody is happy with what people are doing, it makes things easier. And for the first raid, we really it was a particular challenge because nobody had done a raid at Ubisoft. It was the very first one, and we were kind of the pioneers on that side here. Fortunately, we had people such as Sed and other people in the team who are very knowledgeable about raids in other games and love games with tougher challenges and mechanics. So we had a good core team to start building that challenge. And after we released the first one, I'm confident to say it was a success. I think we had like more than 1 million players to date that have played the raid. And based on that, Massive naturally trusted us for the second one. We continued to have a very close collaboration with some of the department there, such as the economic team, who really helped us with the rewards and the RPG. And yeah, that's how it worked.
Nice. I want to go into some of the things that I think are probably the most exciting about this new raid. The thing that strikes me first is the location of the raid. It's a very different look to what we've had before. When you sit down and plan out what you want to do for the raid, Massive come to you and they're like, hey, we want to do another raid. What's the first place that your mind goes in terms of what you want to do in picking a location?
So there are two important points, in my opinion. The first one is how impressive, epic, and original is the location. The raid is a really specific content, and we don't want you to jump in there and be like, oh, I've already seen that there, I've already played it. So we're really looking for original locations. And on top of that, this time on, as I said, we wanted to try to focus the mechanics a bit more on the environment, or at least being able to have a location that can support the mechanics through what you can expect to find in those locations. So a foundry, obviously you're going to find huge machinery and a lot of stuff that we can play with, hot metal and so on. So that's the first part, finding a location that is impressive, epic, memorable, and that can support our different challenges.
Okay, yeah, I'm just showing a few people now what that looks like. It's
Yeah, because I said there was actually 2 points, but I think I've covered both of them. So, There
you go. I mean, these concepts jump out to me, and the first thing
so
that I see is the
exactly
scale is different.
That's on the visual side of things. We really were appealed by this location because it really helped us push the contrast of the heat and the cold and the gigantic side of that location, and make you feel like you're very small, entering in that beast that is the foundry. Player will be able to explore some very unique and quite impressive environment during that raid.
Yeah, it
So
does
pay
look.
attention to everything that you see around you. I know that you will be a bit overwhelmed with the challenge already, but there are very nice art pieces that we've designed there.
Exactly. I'm interested to see what comes out of photo mode with this one. I think there's going to be a lot of really, really cool stuff there. So obviously, and we talked about this. I remember when we had the stream about Dark Hours, and we talked about, obviously, you have a lot of research you need to do, and there's a lot of reference that you need to gather. Obviously, it's difficult for security reasons to get blueprints of airports, understandably. What was the process for you from the creative direction standpoint in terms of inspiration for a place like the Foundry?
Yeah. Well, first there was the visual inspiration, and I had two things in mind. The first thing might be a bit blurred in my memory, but I remembered, the opening scene of a RoboCop movie, where Agent Murphy gets completely destroyed in that huge factory. So in my memory, it's sort of a foundry, but I'm not sure. But I had like that huge empty factory by night with the floodlights, and that created a very oppressive setting. And on top of that, a few years ago, when I used to live north of France, I would often pass by a proper foundry. Those huge foundries that you can find. There are some in the US, there are some in Europe. If you look for ArcelorMittal foundries, for instance, you will find the type of references that we had in mind. So those huge complex, because we needed something that could support a player physical progression, and not just play in 1 or 2 rooms. So when you look at those foundry, you have all the infrastructure to support the whole process of melting and transforming the metal. So from bringing the scrap metal by railway and processing it to the foundry till delivering it. So that aspect of having a big location was also something key to us.
Yeah, obviously that story is something it seems like you're telling a lot through, I guess we would refer to it as visual storytelling. You can see the train here, and we'll go a little bit more into the technology stuff as we talk about boss mechanics and stuff.
To be fair, on the so that was like the visual inspiration, let's say, and then of course the entire team started to research how does a foundry work, and what is the logic of melting and transforming the metal. So there are a lot of pieces and sometimes part of the mechanics, not spoiling anything, that are really part of what can happen in a foundry. So they researched all of that. Of course, we're not doing like a foundry simulation, so it's not like we're not engineers. We don't know exactly how a foundry works, but we try to do our best to make that whole process that we're showing logical and coherent.
Nice. I did see one thing, and I'm going to need you to clear it up for me. Someone was speculating that the first boss is probably RoboCop. Can you just...
Yeah, that's true.
Sebastian, okay. Confirmed. All right. It's definitely RoboCop. So I want to talk a little bit about the narrative location. How did the division find about the foundry? What's their call to action for going there?
So basically, that in the division world, after the collapse, a lot of people have reacted as they could to the situation, and that we had settlements of civilians started to foster here and there. And actually, the people working at the foundry, when the outbreak happened and they were stuck there, well, they tried to organize themselves and they built a settlement in that foundry. But after some time, the True Sons that you've met in Washington, D.C. Have decided to raid that foundry and take opportunity of everything they could find there to start building their weaponry. And as you saw, there are huge machinery there. So you can imagine that they've been very creative with what they had at their disposal. So as I said, it was a settlement. So the settlement had some contact with the base of operation in Washington. And at some point, that contact just went off. And that's when the agents knew that something was off there. And they're sending you, agents, to go and investigate what's happening.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. The other thing I wanted to ask you was, in terms of the technical aspect of the location, how do players get there? Obviously, in the Division 2, the one raid we have, you don't walk up to it. You have a helicopter ride. Is it the same thing for this one, or is it any different?
You also had a boat ride in the first one, actually. But this time on it's the same. So we have the location. The foundry could not be attached to Washington, D.C. That doesn't make sense. So the foundry is a little bit more south of Washington. So yes, you will be transported there once you approach the helicopter pilot.
Okay, all right. Sebastian, I promise I have some questions for you.
Oh yes, there will be a lot for him.
From your side of things, in terms of the gameplay, what are your biggest learnings from the Dark Hours raid to now? What were the key things you wanted to implement in a new raid?
So we followed the evolution of the first raid from the release to not so far away, and what we learned is that because of the design of the bosses and because of how the main game evolved from TU3 to now, it became more and more a sort of a DPS race, which is not what we wanted to do with the second raid. So the first learning is this one, and the second main learning is probably because of this DPS aspect, the gap between the console players and the PC players was a little bit bigger than expected. So of course the Division is a shooter, and by definition you have probably more It's probably easier to aim and to shoot at things, and so because of that, PC gamers in general have an advantage of console players, or at least it's easier to find more players on PC. And again, we didn't want to repeat the same mistake with the second raid, and that's why we wanted to focus on the environment and stuff like this. So this is the second learning, and maybe the third one, not the biggest one, but still, Boomer, the first boss of Operation Dark Hours, was a huge blocker. So of course it was because he's the first boss of the first raid, and it's something that maybe the players were not used to. But more than this, after a few days or a few weeks, even when the strategy was revealed and explained by everyone, we saw in the statistics that Boomer was a real blocker for a lot of players. And it's something that we wanted to address. We want the players to be blocked because they are discovering the raid. We want the player to be blocked because they are not good enough. But we don't want them to be blocked because of just one first boss that is a huge wall to pass.
Okay.
So we'll see if we did good or not, but the first boss of the second raid should
be easier.
Yeah, I will not say easier, but it's not the same sort of blocker.
Okay, that's interesting. So are there obviously gear is an important thing in our game. How important is gear for the raid? Will players need to reach a certain level? I know you mentioned that there aren't really DPS checks, or they aren't as important to this raid, but is the gear still important?
It's still important because for the raid you need 8 players who are able to do their job and to be efficient for the team. So the higher your gear is, the more min-maxed it is, the easier it is for you. So of course, because we want the raid to be challenging, we are focusing on the min-maxed gears. So it's better if you have like a good gears and all your 8 players have good gears. But it's not something that is extremely mandatory to have like god rolls on everything. Okay. But at least you need a decent build.
Interesting. I just want to remind people that we are currently 36 minutes and 20 seconds away from the raid opening up. I've got another screen here, and those folks will tell me.
We're going to rush as soon as this gets to 0 as well next door.
Yeah. I assume you guys, this isn't something that I plan to talk about. You guys have played, obviously, the stuff that you make. How much of a challenge is it? I mean, you know how the mechanics work. Is it still hard?
It's still hard, and it was the one of the hardest part for balancing the raid was actually to find 8 players who were able to complete it inside the team. And even with that, because we were testing things, or because we wanted to focus on a specific element, we had to use some cheat codes. We know that the raid is doable because we have teams that are expert in the end games, working for Ubisoft, and they did a lot of pass on the raid, and they confirmed that it is doable. They confirmed it is super challenging. But yeah, it was not always easy for us because we wanted to feel it. We wanted to be able to perfectly balance everything. So you have to play your content if you want to master it.
Yeah,
and the thing was, it was extremely hard for us, and even more with the work from home situation, because suddenly we were not able to play, because when you're playing remotely, you have a lot of delay, a lot of lags, and so suddenly the raid was not doable anymore for us, and so you have to work on the situation to find solutions. We did.
That's true, because we don't use the same servers for those kind of internal builds. I didn't actually think about how difficult that would have been for you guys.
That was a fun experience.
Yeah. So the cat's out of the bag. Apparently devs aren't pro players. I think we knew that there are people out there in the community that are infinitely better at us than the game, at the game than we are, but Chad already knew that.
But at least we have a couple of developers who completed it.
Good.
Actually, we have some of them in-house that are just waiting for the world first to be completed so they can jump in as well, because we have those guys who can beat. I cannot beat the raid, to be honest.
Yeah, we do
unless
actually.
I'm all those good people.
Yeah, I do have a. I mean, it's a little bit of a secret. We do have a team that is internal that is actually trying to beat everyone else in terms of the world first race. It won't count, so don't worry, chat. They're not. Even if they do, even though they know how it works.
Yeah, of course.
So they want to follow the race and they want to race with you,
Yeah.
but they will wait for the world first to come before. And I'm quite sure that they're gonna be beaten by the community anyway.
Yeah.
Probably.
Even with the knowledge of the strategy and everything, but they want at least to give that try to compete with the community.
Well, we'll see. I mean, maybe we'll reveal that in a future stream. I mean, we're going to do State of the Game tomorrow, so if we have any updates on that, we will let you know. I want to go into a bit about mechanics, and this might be the part where we do a little bit of a spoiler warning. We have about half an hour to go, and I kind of want to spend a big chunk of the stream talking about the gameplay aspects of stuff. Also, chat, if you do have any questions about stuff, I am looking at what you have. If there are any things I can ask Chatty and Sebastian, I will do so. But yes, make sure you're hanging out with us for the next half hour as we count down 32 minutes and 33 seconds until the raid is live. Red Saber Sam saying, I have a feeling there's lots of fire. You're pretty on point, and we will go a bit into some of the bosses in different locations over the next half hour. All right. Sorry?
Who knows?
Who knows? Fire. Spoilers, there's fire. There was, and we wouldn't expect anything less from a very intelligent community and very smart. There were some things data mined a few weeks ago from the build that we put out for the PTS, I imagine. We want to go through some of the things. The raid journal did go into a little bit of flavor text that would reveal some things, but we want to make sure that we level the playing field, so to speak. So we'll go through it step by step without spoiling as best we can. Make sure that if you don't want to know anything, that maybe you mute us for about 15 minutes. Ready? Sebastian? I think we can start now? All right. So let's say, let's go through the whole player's journey. And I'm using this as an excuse so we can talk about, well, I can show as many pretty pictures as possible. Obviously, people arrive at the foundry, and before they hit the first boss,
we will not reveal the whole journey because of what has been leaked. Players, I honestly think that players cannot exactly know what to expect from the raid. But obviously, because the raid journal leaked, they learned some of the mechanics for the bosses and everything. And we do want the race to the world first to be fair for everyone. So maybe for those who didn't read what has leaked or those who were not aware about it, we just want to discuss a very little bit about this. So again, the Red Journal is not explaining everything about the fight. It's just an help to understand what's happening once you discover the fight. And so having access to it early is not such a great help, but still. So that's why I wanted to discuss just a little bit about the boss. So 4 bosses, just like the previous raid. The first one is called Lieutenant Gray. And we built him to be the gatekeeper of the foundry. He's a healer, sort of support archetype for the enemies you will fight there. And the main mechanic is what we call the ironclad armor, so which is a new and exclusive way to heal something or someone in the Division 2. The Gray will be always protected by 3 shielded bodyguards. So basically you can expect from this fight to be tough. You need to prove that you're able to enter the foundry, and once you do, you will progress a little bit and reach the second boss, who is Captain Feather. Captain Feather is a huge flamethrower archetype. He's fighting you in the same forge, and because of that, you will suffer from the heat. I will not tell how.
Spoilers, is that the guy? I'm thinking back to the raid trailer. I'm just scrubbing through it now. Do we see him? I remember seeing guy with the flamethrower, about halfway through.
That's him.
That's him.
Okay.
And
All right. So maybe.
this,
Oh yeah, I see it around 50 seconds. If people want
Yeah,
to
he's making
scrub
quite
through
an
it.
entrance.
Yeah, it's cool.
and so what the red journal says about him is that he's not fighting you alone, not really alone. He's coming with a new weapon. And so you can expect for this fight that at some point you will have to find a way to destroy or to stop the weapon while you are fighting Feather.
Okay.
And in this fight, we want you to rely on the foundry itself, on the machinery, without spoiling anything. So you're going to play with it.
Okay. Is that? I think I have a picture that
Yeah.
we showed before. Let's see if this is the one. Is this the one you're talking
Yeah.
about?
Yeah. So from there, you will have to do some stuff.
Do some stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll leave it up a little bit longer so chat can maybe speculate as to what that is. I see airlock occupancy. I see 3 doors. I see A, B, and C. Interesting.
Yeah, you got some ingredients there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And so after this boss, so we will reach the third boss with
Lieutenant Williams.
Williams. So Williams, the third boss, is waiting you in the core of the foundry.
All right. I definitely have pictures of that. Check this out.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do.
Woo.
And so what the Red Journal revealed is that Williams is playing with some tech he stole from the Division. So basically some sort of game launcher he improved to be even deadlier than what the Division agents are able to do. And so because of that, it doesn't even need any regular gun. So you're gonna face him with his skills in this kind of environment, and this time you will fight for the environment
Interesting.
while you are fighting Williams and his true sons.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going around in that fight.
Yeah, you're gonna feel what is the chaos in this fight.
Okay, because I'm thinking back. We've done things with fire in the past. I'm thinking back to Dragon's Nest in the final
Dragon's
fight,
Nest.
where you had to use the immunizer and that sort of thing. Is this a little bit more complex than the Dragon's Nest stuff?
It is, for sure it is.
Okay, I might look to chat like I'm feigning ignorance on this stuff, but I legitimately have not seen these things in the raid, so I know nothing of what I'm talking about. So you're finding out this stuff as much as I am. I'm thinking, like, back to Naxxramas and World of Warcraft, like Noth the Plaguebringer type stuff. But again, that's my speculation. We'll see. I don't know. There are some things in there that we did talk about before the stream that I think are worth pointing out, and it's actually in the trailer. But those little chain elevators, what's that about?
The lift.
Yeah.
So that's there's some anecdote here because the studio in Annecy here has been working on Assassin's Creed multiplayer for 4 years before we started, 6 years before we started working on Division. And when we were doing Assassin's Creed multiplayer, we needed a fast way to take players up the roofs, which didn't exist in the main game. So we invented that mechanic here. Actually, it was then added in the main game. So for that fight, we were looking for a fast way to take you up the main oven of the foundry. Naturally, we're like, oh, we need to bring back the lift from the Assassin's Creed days, and that's
So
how
cool.
it made it here. So maybe it will make its way in the main game someday. I don't know.
And the lead GPP who wanted to do that was pushing hard for having a sort of a lift in the Division, in the raid for us, and he was using Assassin's Creed as a strong reference without knowing that we worked on it.
Yeah, he didn't know that we did that mechanic.
That's so
So
cool.
you can always find great ideas that you had in other games that can be helpful in the next game, even though they are completely different. So that was cool for us.
I know a lot of people out there in the world like to think of what you guys do as, oh, you can just copy and paste things from other games. But that's not the case with this. Like, Assassin's uses a completely different engine, but this is the first time that Snowdrops had something like this. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, technically it's completely different. It's really like the philosophy behind it that was the starting point.
Yeah, if anyone wants to see the elevator thing again, I'll bring it up. Just let us know in chat. Matthias Bond's asking, this is official live? Yes, we are live, and we are currently, how far away? I'm just going to bring up this. 23 minutes and 37 seconds away from the raid coming out. So, all right, yes, show it again. Here it is. Here it is. I love this. I don't speak Spanish, but this is really cool.
Ascender. Just lift up, I guess.
There you go.
So that was a spoil. Now players know that they have to go up there.
Yeah, there you go. I guess we shall see. I see some other speculation in chat. Ravenness VR is asking, will there be a secret link to hunters being involved in the Foundry? That's a big jump, but I like it. I like the speculation.
There are some secrets to be found in the Foundry, but they're secrets. So
yeah, well, we'll talk a little bit about the rewards and stuff later. I'm just going to ask, are there any audio logs in the Foundry? Or no?
No.
Okay.
Audio
logs.
So yeah, some of them also
really?
has been. Yeah. So not all of them, but some of them.
Okay.
And
interesting.
That's why we wanted to discuss about it.
Okay. Side note.
So yes, so this was the third boss. So it's time to discuss just a little bit about the final boss with Colonel Morozova. She's a woman. She's leading the True Sons since their former leader got killed, and she deeply thinks that at some point the True Sons will be able to take their revenge over the division. They really want to destroy the division, and so this is why they raided the Foundry to build something amazing. And they achieved to do it, and so now they are trying to. No, we won't tell that. So the final.
It's hard to talk about content for an hour without going into specifics.
Yeah, I know.
And so Morozova, what you know about her is that she has an amazingly big cannon, and she's ready to use it. Yeah, this one. She's ready to use it, and in this fight, you will have to understand how to counter this cannon, how to destroy it, while you are fighting Morozova and her True Sons. But also, another element that has been revealed is that they have the equivalent of the Avenger that you can see in Capitol. Is it Capitol?
Yeah.
And so they have you're facing the train, the gigantic train, you're fighting Morozova, and you have somewhere the equivalent of the Avenger, what is ready to.
Yeah, so you're caught on really multiple sides, and you have all the sides to handle together while managing to analyze what you have to do with the environment as well. Tough final fight, we hope.
It is.
Yeah. Oof, okay.
A little anecdote about this. So the last time the pro team of Ubisoft to go through the raid, because of some latency issues, they had trouble to complete the full run. They were able to beat boss 1, 2, 3, but not the boss 4 because of the latency. So actually, maybe it means that this is the hardest fight in the Division 2.
I wonder if that's because of the call-outs for communication. I'm not going to ask you to confirm, but I'm interested to see. Again, I haven't seen any of this, so I'm really excited to be able to watch tonight what goes on. Because I think we'll be staying up a while. We are in the final 20 minutes of all of this. I want to use this opportunity to go back on a few things just to clarify for people who might be new to the stream. The raid, Operation Iron Horse, is going live in 19 minutes and 42 seconds. I don't see any issues from our side in terms of bringing up those servers. Apparently, once they're ready to go, it will happen very quickly. There are drops on this channel and also other Division channels in the directory after this, and I'm just going to show you real quick what you can get. The mask will be available to you if you watch any streams for 90 minutes, and also the backpack trophy for 30 minutes. Those things are cumulative, so if you watch this stream for 20 minutes and then do 70 minutes in another stream, then that makes sense. So some people are saying in chat, Contact Front Oz is saying it's a Bob the Builder helmet. You're not actually that wrong. I do just want to Thank you, Moobot, for linking that in chat, because I want to remind everyone you need to link your account, your Twitch account and your Ubisoft account, so we know to give you these things. If you don't do that, you will not be able to get these rewards. Okay? We're cool? Okay, so we talked a little bit about the mechanics. I think that's definitely as far as we want to go on all of them. Do you personally have a favorite boss, whether that be because of the gameplay or because of the visuals? What jumps out at you?
They really are different from each other, so it's hard to say.
I would say mine is the second one.
Okay.
Although the final boss still keeps that climatic mood, and you have that pressure of, we need to stop that big weapon. That's a super exciting moment. But I have some reasons why I like boss 2 as much, at least, but I cannot.
Okay. I have another image that I haven't shown yet. This might be the second fight, but I'm not sure. What's this one?
Yeah, this is the second fight.
Okay.
It is.
I'll leave this up for people so they can have a look at the environment. There's a lot of things going on there. Obviously, we see different sectors. I mean, we see Sector A here, but maybe there's some other things. Because we did see the top-down view from the control booth before. I'll just bring that up again for people to remind them. So you can have a look.
There might be a connection there.
Interesting. I see a big chungus. I see drones, although I'm not sure if that drone is offensive or defensive, whether it's ours or the enemies. Interesting. I appreciate you guys not spoiling how it all works, but because I am being watched by other people at Ubisoft, and I don't want to get in trouble. But I'm glad we're doing this live because it's fun.
I can tell one reason regarding the boss 2 fight why I like it, and because I'm not spoiling anything, you saw it in the trailer, but just the boss himself and the way he appears, we have a lot of cool animated moments, some cutscenes. The animation team has done an amazing job to, try to leverage also that content with the realization, and so pay attention to all those details. Some scenes. The cutscenes, you won't be able to miss them, but there are other stuff happening here and there.
Okay. I have one other image that we didn't actually talk about, and there's not too much to say about it, but I really think it looks cool. So I'll put you on the spot again, and you tell me what you can about this one.
Go for it.
What am I looking at here?
This is the almost the first thing you're gonna see when you will enter the foundry. So
it's one of the first rooms. It's also one of the first step of the process in the foundry. But here, what we wanted to create is really when you're going to step inside that room, and you're going to see all those huge machineries for the first time. It's making you feel small in that environment that seems to have been built for giants. Actually, we used to call that area Dusty Giants. That was just our internal code name for this room. So it's really a set piece to put you in the mood of the upcoming fights.
Okay, very cool.
And there are things taking place there. It's not only opening a door, walking, and getting out. You'll have some surprises here. Almost.
One of the things that I'm just curious about is you obviously have the bosses, and then you have all the stuff in between. Like you have trash mobs. There wasn't a whole lot of that in Dark Hours. Is it the same amount, or less, or more in this one?
So it's different. We didn't want to recreate what we did with the first raid, and so here I'm trying to avoid any spoil. But what we wanted to do is to give the players the opportunity to see more of the foundry, to look more for puzzles, challenges, but they are not forced to do it. And if you do, you're gonna get more rewards, more stuff, more.
Okay. Speaking of rewards, I mean, we've got 14 minutes. If I see any questions pop up, I will get to it. Yes, chat, the raid opens in 15 minutes. That's, 13 minutes and 52 seconds. That's why you can't get in right now. That is true. In terms of how long you should watch the stream, that's when we will be going offline and we'll be sending you to other people in the community. In terms of Twitch drops, it's 30 minutes for the backpack trophy and 90 minutes for the mask. You will need to link your account, so make sure you do that. And that is cumulative. So if you only jumped in here for 10 minutes, that'll still count towards your total across all streams, is what I'm told. Are there any other questions that jump out to me? Oh yeah, here's one from Tackleberry 1978. Are there keys, like in Dark Hours, for opening the final... I assume there's a final chest? Do we want to talk about that?
Yeah,
Okay.
there is a final container, and so you have some keys to collect.
Okay.
And this is what I was speaking about. So they are not on the main path.
They're not on the main path. All right. Confirmed. All right, that's good to know.
That's the other challenge with the world first. Beating the raid first is going to be one thing, but can you beat the raid first and get all the rewards?
All right. I again will be looking at other questions that we have in here, but I want to go to the rewards conversation because we've alluded to it in previous State of the Game stuff, and obviously, full transparency, other teams work on loot and rewards. Obviously, we talked about the crafting stuff with Nikki the other day. So one of the rewards that you'll be able to get from the raid is the Regulus revolver. You've seen it on the PTS. It has some very interesting mechanics, which are very, very cool. And I'm interested to see how other people work those into their builds once they get access to it. It looks badass, so that's really cool. The Ravenous, though, Sebastian, can we confirm how people might be able to get that? I mean, if they've played the first raid, they may know.
So with no surprise, it's like the Eagle Bearer. If you want to get this rifle, you have to open the final container.
Okay.
So
Right,
you need all the...
You need all the keys, or you need to complete the raid several times.
Okay, so, I mean, I know you guys don't deal with the loot pools, but is it on the loot pool for the final boss as a drop?
No.
Okay, just the container.
Yeah.
All right, we can leave that. Again, like I say, those things are handled by other people.
And what you can expect from the bosses is mainly the backpack and the chest of the new gear sets.
Yes, because there are two new gear sets that people may have experienced on the PTS: the Foundry Bulwark, which is also now in the game. They won't have access.
In T10.
Yeah, but they haven't had access to the loot pool, which drops the backpack and the chest.
Yeah.
Until now. There's also the Bulwark and the Future Initiative gear sets, so people will be able to get their hands on those two pieces for each of those sets that they haven't had access to. I see 5 backpack trophies in the list of stuff. How do people get access to those backpack trophies?
So there is one that it's quite obvious to collect. So just by completing the mission, you will get the first backpack trophy. And the other ones are hidden somewhere in the foundry. So sometimes you just have to find them. Sometimes you have to do some actions to unlock them.
Okay. How well hidden are they? Are they like to the point where we have to give hints to the community to find them, like we did with the beehive stuff? Or
it's like for those who found them, it's like the backpack trophies you have after the second boss of the first raid. You have sort of a hidden interaction you can find, and once you find it, you can collect the rewards. It's more or less the same, but sometimes with an additional step.
So it's a little bit off the beaten path.
Yeah.
Okay, I did see one of the questions about that. Someone was asking, do they need to rush to get them? Is there a time component to it? Or let's say I'm trying to rush to complete the raid and I have a bit of spare time. Can I go back and find them?
So you have to be in the mission to complete the puzzles. So you cannot complete the puzzle if you are in the visit mode after completing the raid.
Okay.
But you can restart the raid to retry the different bits to solve them on the second turn or when you want.
I've got a few other... Sorry?
Yeah.
You go?
Go. Okay, so it's just something I wanted to say. It's for the race or for the guys who are in the speedrun mind. We wanted to remind that there is a speedrun timer that you can activate from the UI option. So it will give you the exact time you spend in the raid from the beginning to the end until you leave the raid. So it's a great tool for the race to the world first.
Okay. All right. Now there's going to be an interesting few times. I'm just going to check in on the timer again. Where are we at? Oof. 8 minutes is closing in on us very quickly. I'm just going to jump through
we
here.
already saw some people queuing at the helipad next to the White House.
Yeah. I'm sure. But yeah, you said that even like at 4:30 today, people were doing that.
Yeah.
Very cool. People are asking,
Exciting.
ODST Wolf saying what builds are good in the raid. We did touch on the fact that not everything is related to DPS all the time. How much build diversity are you guys expecting? Or is everyone going to be running Headhunter and getting through everything easily?
So it's hard to speak about the diversity because it really depends on the play style of the players. But for sure, we didn't want a team of 8 damage build to be able to be more efficient than a team who spend time to analyze the situation and the needs and who come in the raid with like a more variety or more ways to fulfill all the needs in the raid. So ideally, I think like having 1 or 2 blue build and 1 or 2 yellow build is always an help for this raid.
Cool. All right, that's good to know. I do see another good question here from Fanny001 asking, can we use raid keys from Dark Hours for this raid? That's a good question. Okay, maybe we don't want to answer it. It doesn't matter if it's a good question. If you don't want to answer it, that's totally fine. I don't want to get anyone in trouble. Okay, that is fine. Oh, here's a good one. And maybe you don't know the answer to it, but is that because the Eagle Bearer is in the loot pool for the final boss, for the end of the Dark Hours raid, is it also in the loot pool for this one? Maybe that's a question for Nikki.
Yeah, it's more for me. I have a little doubt, so I don't want to say something that is not true.
Knowing Nikki, I do not think it will be in this loot pool. I think the Eagle Bearer has always been...
and as far as possible, we wanted to keep the Eagle Bearer exclusive to Operation Dark Hours. So I'm not sure that we included it in this one. I'm quite sure it's not, but...
Okay, good to know. We didn't show it before. We did actually show it on a State of the Game stream earlier, but not during this stream. We did mention that since the Race to World First is starting literally in under 6 minutes, the people who do complete it first per platform will be immortalized in the White House, and also I think maybe not in Haven. No, just in the White House.
Just in the White House.
Yeah, right here. So if you want that to be you, you better put in some work, because that's going to be a very cool accolade to have. I keep asking the team to put me in as a picture somewhere in the game, but they refuse. Why?
And we'll see if we see names that are already on the other picture.
That's the big
That's
question.
going to be interesting.
This anyone who's been watching Netflix and been watching the Michael Jordan Last Dance Bulls documentary, I'm wondering if we're going to have a similar situation here, where they defend the title.
I don't know what I can say. Yeah.
We'll see. The pressure is on, and we're going to find out in 5 minutes if that's happening. Again, for the people who are just tuning in, can you? So I have it for the record. Jaddy, what's your? If we're having a betting pool, what's your time, your completion time that you're backing?
8 hours.
8 hours?
Yeah.
Sebastian, what about you?
I will say a bit more than 8 hours.
Okay. I'm going to go on record and say that I hope it's more than 8 hours, but I know how much people have been preparing and how huge nerds they are when it comes to like theory crafting. I know you guys have been putting in the work on figuring out builds. I think Headhunter is very strong right now. I'm going to go the other way and say 5 hours. I hope I'm wrong.
I will be a little bit disappointed, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I
But
hope
that's right.
I'm.
When you see those teams playing and how well they know all the very details of the builds and everything, yeah, that's what I said at the start. We were always surprised, but we'll see
Right.
soon.
Chat is speculating over 8. No, the first raid actually took under 6 hours.
Yeah.
Zerbol. If anyone has any other predictions, I see 3 to 4 hours. I see 20 minutes. I really hope it's not 20 minutes. But this
No,
is the thing.
it's not
Like,
going to be possible.
the community completely surprise us all the time. So when I say 5 hours, I literally have no idea as well.
Yeah.
While the community is always surprising us, with this one, I hope that we will be able to surprise them.
Yeah. No, that's true. Do you feel like you've well, we've talked a bit about the mechanics. Do you think there are a lot of surprises in store for the community?
It's not only the mechanic, I'd say.
I think it's a brand new experience in the division. So just with that said, it's going to be if people are just expecting Operation Dark Hours 2, then they're going to be surprised and maybe destabilized if they thought they just had to have a very powerful build and get in there.
Okay, I have a couple of more questions for you. Steve Rogers 789 is asking, is there a commendation for the hardcore Iron Horse completion, like we have for Dark Hours?
So yes, we have 10 or 11 new commendations that are dedicated to the second raid. So if you want to spend more time in the raid to complete them all, so you will find some stuff to do.
Okay, all right, that's good to know. We've got 2 minutes to go until the servers go up. I just want to use this opportunity to thank you both for coming by the stream.
Thank you.
I'm going to be up late tonight watching everything that's going on. We'll be sharing a bunch of clips. Please.
Can we just send a lot of love to the team behind the camera over there? Guys, we're coming soon.
All right. Yeah.
They're probably super excited.
So there's a bunch of people in the office.
Evening.
That's awesome. Yeah. Shout out to everyone in Annecy who's been working on this. That's incredible. Behind the camera here, I just have like my cat tree. So it's really not anything's going on here. But I'll let my cat know that she's appreciated. People in chat saying love you too. There's a lot of appreciation for you guys in chat. So I hope you feel proud of the work you've done. It's a very
proud of what you did.
Yeah. No, you should be. And it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Chat, if you have it.
At the end, we can't wait to see how players react when they put their hands on it.
Yeah.
But lots of expectations here.
This is the moment we were waiting for like ages.
Yeah, I'm really excited again. Like I mentioned before, photo mode is going to get a lot of love during the raid. I see Natalie Ozzy in chat, who's one of our premium photo mode users. She is asking, who are the people behind the raid? Can you guys talk a little bit about the studio? Just quickly?
Yeah, so basically it's mostly the team here in Annecy, and we were supported on the economic design side by Massive. We had support as well on the animation side. That's the main points. Can I think about
characters also?
Characters. Yeah, so it's not a game that we do on our own, but the very design of the mechanics and of the raid itself was done by the team here in Annecy.
All right, it looks like, let's bring it up. Our countdown timer is at 0. That means we're going to head off. Thank you very much again. It's apparently live. It looks like I'm looking at my internal Ubisoft chat as well. It looks like it's on the way. So I'm going to call it a day. We're going to head off and we're going to go watch streams. Everyone have an awesome night. Congratulations again, Sebastian and Chatty, on making all this content and finally getting your baby out into the world. We'll see you all on various streaming platforms. All right, chat, everyone, let's go head over. All right, guys, we'll catch you again soon.
You.
Okay,
bye.
Thanks very much. Woo, no, this should be a good one. All right, see you later, everyone.
Bye.